that resembled figures standing in the corners of empty rooms. Several investigators reported hearing German voices whispering in the dark, calling out names that matched those of the Tiedemann family. Later, when new owners tried to renovate the home, they discovered hidden passageways behind walls, secret compartments beneath the floorboards, and narrow tunnels that connected different parts of the mansion. One crew even claimed to find human bones sealed inside a small chamber near the foundation. Whether those bones belonged to one of the Tiedemanns or someone else entirely, no one ever learned. Visitors today describe Franklin Castle as cold, even in the heat of summer. Its walls seem to breathe, its floors creak like footsteps, and its rooms carry a stillness that makes your skin crawl. Tour guides say that lights flicker on their own, doors open and close without warning, and shadows glide along the walls when no one is near. The air smells faintly of old wood and candle smoke, and if you stand long enough in silence, you might hear the faint sound of sobbing. Locals believe the spirits of the Tiedemann family still linger there, unable to find peace. Some say Hannes himself walks the halls at night, his heavy boots echoing through the empty rooms, searching for redemption or revenge. Others believe the house absorbed the sorrow of all who lived and died there, and now it breathes that sadness back into the world. Even seasoned ghost hunters have been known to flee Franklin Castle. Equipment fails without explanation. Voices are caught on recorders when no one is speaking. Doors slam so violently that the entire structure seems to shudder. Some investigators have reported being touched by unseen hands or feeling an icy breath against their neck. One even claimed that, as he turned to leave, he heard a whisper directly in his ear, a single word that chilled him to the bone. Stay. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there is no denying that Franklin Castle carries an atmosphere unlike any other. It is a place where time has stopped, where echoes of tragedy still linger, and where the past refuses to be forgotten. It stands as both a monument to ambition and a reminder that some houses remember every pain, every secret, and every cry that was ever uttered within their walls. And as the wind howls through the turrets at night, the people of Cleveland still look toward the old mansion and wonder, what really happened behind those doors, and why does Franklin Castle never rest? Number 12. Wildermuth Mansion, Pomeroy, Ohio. In the quiet town of Pomeroy, where the Ohio River bends like a ribbon of silver beneath the hills, there stands a mansion that has long outlived the people who built it. Its name is Wildermuth Mansion, a grand aging house that sits on a rise overlooking the town below. Its columns are cracked, its windows clouded, and its gardens long overgrown. But even in decay, it still carries a strange kind of majesty. Yet locals say that the house is not empty. They say it watches, it listens, and sometimes it calls out to those who pass too close. The Wildermuth family were among the wealthiest in Meigs County in the 19th century. The mansion was their pride, a symbol of power and refinement. Built in the 1850s, it was designed to impress, with tall white pillars, winding staircases, and chandeliers that once shimmered like captured stars. For years, it was filled with laughter, music, and the soft sound of parties drifting into the night. But as the years passed, tragedy began to seep into the house like water through cracks in the stone. Stories tell of illness striking the family again and again. Children were lost before their time, and servants whispered that the house itself seemed to mourn. People began to notice strange things, flickering lights when no one was home, doors that opened and closed on their own, and the faint sound of voices echoing from the upstairs hallways. But it wasn't until after the last member of the Wildermuth family passed away that the stories turned truly dark. In the decades that followed, the mansion changed hands many times. No one stayed for long. Tenants spoke of cold spots that moved through rooms like invisible figures, of mirrors that fogged with handprints when no one was near, and of strange animal-like sounds echoing through the walls. Some swore they saw large, shadowy creatures moving across the lawn at night, not quite human, not quite beast, vanishing into the trees before dawn. One former caretaker described waking in the middle of the night to the sound of scratching at the door. When he opened it, the hall was empty, but muddy footprints led up the stairs. They were shaped like hooves, though much too large for any animal in the region. He left the next day and never returned. Others who have entered the mansion claim to feel watched at all times, as if unseen eyes follow their every move. There are reports of heavy breathing in empty rooms, of the scent of decay rising suddenly and vanishing just as quickly, and of a pale woman seen standing at the top of the staircase. She wears an old-fashioned gown, her hair flowing loosely over her shoulders. Some believe she is the ghost of a Wildermuth daughter who died of fever in her youth. She never speaks, never moves. She only stares, as if waiting for someone who will never come. Paranormal investigators who have braved the mansion describe it as a place of confusion and energy that shifts without warning. One group set up cameras in the parlor, only to find them turned off moments later. When they reviewed the footage, they saw flashes of light, faint figures moving just beyond focus, and the distinct shape of something crawling across the ceiling. The sound recorders picked up low growls, as though an animal were in the room, though nothing was there. There are also stories of a strange hum that fills the air at certain hours of the night, a sound that starts low, like the rumble of distant thunder, and grows louder until it vibrates through the walls. Some say it is the house itself, alive with the echoes of its past. Others believe something ancient resides there, something that has claimed the land long before the mansion was built. People who have spent time in the Wildermuth mansion often leave changed. They speak of vivid dreams, of seeing shapes in their peripheral vision for weeks afterward, and of hearing whispers when they try to sleep. A few even say they felt something follow them home, a shadow that lingers just at the edge of sight, a chill that never fades. Today, the mansion sits empty, its windows dark, its doors chained shut. But on quiet nights, those who live nearby say the lights sometimes return. They glow faintly behind the dusty glass, moving from room to room as though the house itself is waking from a long sleep. Dogs bark at it from the road, but refuse to go near, and travelers who pass after midnight swear they can hear footsteps pacing the porch, waiting for someone to come inside. Whether the Wildermuth mansion is haunted by the family who once called it home, or by something far older that hides beneath its foundations, no one can say for sure. But those who know its story will tell you this: if you ever find yourself in Pomeroy after dark, and you see a grand old house sitting alone on the hill, keep walking. Do not look too long. Do not listen to the sounds that call from within, because once you hear the whispers of the Wildermuth mansion, they say, it never lets you go. Number 13. Dick's Fairweather House, Maumee, Ohio. In the quiet streets of Maumee, Ohio, there stands an old house that locals know only by its reputation for mystery and unease. The Dick's Fairweather House rises with a solemn presence, its weathered wood siding and tall windows hinting at a history both rich and troubled. It is not merely a relic of the past. It is a place where the living and the dead are said to meet, where whispers linger long after sunset, and where the spirit of Aunt Phoebe continues to appear, her presence felt by all who enter. Built in the early 19th century, the house has long been tied to the Fairweather family, a prominent household in the region. It was a home of ordinary life on the surface, filled with laughter, meals shared in the parlor, and children running through the halls. But behind the facade of everyday living, tragedy and the inexplicable left their mark. Family records tell of sudden illnesses, untimely deaths, and strange occurrences that no explanation could resolve. It was during this time that Aunt Phoebe, a beloved yet mysterious figure of the household, reportedly passed away under circumstances that left neighbors whispering. Since her death, the house has been a center of paranormal activity. Visitors report feeling sudden chills in empty rooms, hearing footsteps pacing the upper floors, and seeing shadowy figures gliding silently through the hallways. Aunt Phoebe is said to appear at unexpected times, often by the fireplace or near the staircase, wearing long-period clothing, her expression both kind and sorrowful. She does not speak, but those who encounter her describe an overwhelming feeling of being watched, guided, or sometimes warned. Those who have spent nights inside the Dix Fairweather house recount unusual sounds, doors opening and closing on their own, soft whispers just beyond hearing, and the distant creak of rocking chairs in empty rooms. Lights often flicker, and some visitors report seeing small, indistinct figures at the edges of vision, vanishing when looked at directly. Some psychics believe that Aunt Phoebe's spirit lingers to protect the home and to maintain a connection with the world she left behind. Others sense a sadness that saturates the air, as if the house itself has absorbed every sorrow and secret ever experienced within its walls. Even locals who only pass the house at night feel its presence. Windows seem to glimmer with movement, shadows twist unnaturally, and some claim to hear a soft voice calling, "Come inside," though no one is there. Paranormal researchers who have investigated the house often leave shaken, their equipment failing in strange ways, recording unexplained noises and capturing images of ghostly shapes in places where no person stands. The Dix Fairweather house stands as a testament to the enduring power of memory, grief, and the unseen. Aunt Phoebe, whether a benevolent spirit or a restless presence, has made the house her home, ensuring that all who enter are aware that the past is never truly gone. Its walls hold stories that cannot be forgotten, and for those brave enough to explore, it is a haunting reminder that some spirits linger, watching, guiding, and occasionally manifesting in ways that defy explanation. Number 14. Thurber House, Columbus, Ohio. In the heart of Columbus, Ohio, tucked away on a quiet street lined with trees, stands a modest brick home that has long attracted the attention of both literary enthusiasts and those drawn to the supernatural. This is Thurber House, the former home of James Thurber, one of America's most beloved humorists and cartoonists. Though it may appear unassuming from the outside, the house holds stories that go far beyond the life of its famous resident. It is a place where the past lingers in every corner, and where visitors have reported experiences that suggest the walls themselves remember the people who once lived there. Built in the early 20th century, the house was a comfortable family home. James Thurber, known for his sharp wit, whimsical illustrations, and subtle observations of human nature, spent a portion of his life here. Those who study his life know that he was not only brilliant, but also deeply sensitive, often absorbing the moods and energies around him. Some believe that this sensitivity extended beyond the ordinary, leaving behind traces of his presence in the very rooms he once occupied. Over the decades, visitors and neighbors have reported unusual activity that cannot easily be explained. People entering the home claim to feel sudden drops in temperature in certain rooms, especially near Thurber's old study. Others have described hearing the faint scratching of a pen across paper, though the house has long been empty of writing materials. There are accounts of books that seem to fall from shelves on their own, and sometimes the sound of light footsteps echoes through the hallways, though no one is there. Many who have spent extended time in the house report seeing shadowy figures in the corners of their vision. Some describe glimpsing a small, bespectacled man moving quietly through the study or library, only to vanish when approached. Others have felt a presence hovering nearby, as if someone were reading over their shoulder, studying their every move. Paranormal investigators suggest that the energy of creativity, sorrow, and contemplation may have left a lasting imprint, making Thurber House a unique and unusually active location. Even casual visitors have told stories of strange auditory experiences. Some hear laughter that rises and falls softly in the rooms, playful and fleeting, reminiscent of Thurber's whimsical cartoons and stories. Others report hearing a voice reading aloud, quiet and calm, reciting lines from his writings, though no one is present. These experiences, though subtle, leave a lasting impression, as if the house itself is keeping the memory of its resident alive. The garden and exterior areas of the property are not exempt from unexplained phenomena. People walking by the home after dusk often feel watched or notice shadows moving across the windows. On windy nights, the creak of the old wooden gate sometimes sounds like a rhythmic knock, echoing across the yard. Some locals claim to have glimpsed a faint figure standing in the doorway, silhouetted by the soft glow of moonlight, before disappearing entirely. Thurber House also holds a reputation among literary historians who venture inside. They say it is almost impossible to remain in the old study for long without sensing a presence. One visiting writer reported feeling as if invisible eyes were following their hand as they wrote notes, as if the spirit of Thurber himself were observing and approving, or perhaps critiquing. Others who have spent the night in the house claim to have heard the scratching of a pencil, the soft shuffle of papers, or even the faint, echoing laughter of an unseen man. Despite these strange occurrences, the house is not considered threatening. Its haunting is subtle, contemplative, and lingering rather than violent. Those who encounter these experiences often describe a sense of connection rather than fear, as if the house allows its visitors to step briefly into the life and mind of its former resident. The spirit of creativity and the aura of James Thurber's presence seem to permeate the walls, leaving an imprint that endures long after the man himself has gone. Today, Thurber House stands as both a historical landmark and a quiet center of fascination for ghost enthusiasts and literature lovers alike. Its modest exterior belies the complex stories within, stories of creativity, loss, humor, and lingering presence. Anyone who steps inside can feel it, a subtle vibration in the air, the echo of footsteps long past, the soft sigh of papers shifting, and the unmistakable impression that James Thurber's spirit still wanders these rooms, ever watchful, ever present, ensuring that his home continues to tell its own story. Number 15. The Corner House, Coshocton, Ohio. In the quiet crossroads of Coshocton, Ohio, there sits an old abandoned home known to locals simply as the Corner House. Its weathered exterior and broken windows give it an eerie appearance even in daylight. But at night, it transforms into something far more unsettling. The house is notorious for the spirit of a woman in black, who is said to roam its halls and grounds, a presence that has terrified generations of passers-by and ghost hunters alike. The corner house was built in the late 1800s and once stood as a proud family home at the intersection of two dirt roads that have since become quieter streets. Over time, tragedy struck the family who lived there. Some locals claim that the woman in black was a member of the family who suffered a cruel and untimely death, while others suggest she may have been a visitor who met misfortune at the house. Whatever the truth, her presence is said to linger, trapped in the home where her life ended. Visitors report cold drafts that sweep through rooms with no open windows, doors that creak open and shut on their own, and the feeling of being watched by an unseen figure. Those brave enough to step inside often speak of a sudden heaviness in the air, an oppressive presence that grows stronger the longer they stay. The figure of the woman in black is most often seen standing silently at the top of the staircase or gliding along the hallways, her dark dress flowing as if moved by an invisible wind. Her face is obscured by shadow, but those who have glimpsed it describe eyes that seem sorrowful and accusatory, as if searching for something lost long ago. Many ghost hunters who have investigated the corner house report strange phenomena. Cameras malfunction for no reason, audio recorders pick up unexplained voices, and flashes of light appear in photographs where no source exists. Some claim to hear footsteps pacing the floor above, furniture moving slightly when no one is present, and soft whispers calling out names from empty rooms. One investigator even reported a sudden tug on his sleeve as he walked through the front hall, though no one else was near. Local legend says that the woman in black is tied to the house in a tragic loop of loss and sorrow. Those who have lived nearby for decades claim to see her standing by the windows at night, staring into the distance as if waiting for someone who will never return. Others speak of a shadow crossing the intersection where the house stands, appearing suddenly and vanishing before they can reach it. Despite years of abandonment, the corner house retains an undeniable presence. Its walls seem to whisper with the echoes of the past. Its rooms carry the weight of grief, and its grounds are haunted by the lingering energy of a life cut short. Passers-by often feel an inexplicable chill, hear faint cries, or see fleeting shadows near the windows, reminders that some spirits do not rest quietly. The corner house stands today as a stark reminder that some tragedies leave a permanent mark. The spirit of the woman in black continues to roam its halls, a guardian of sorrow, a witness to history, and a presence that ensures the house is never forgotten. For those who dare approach it, the message is clear. Respect the past, for it lives on in ways you cannot always see, hear, or understand. As our journey through some of America's most haunted houses comes to a close, it is impossible not to feel the weight of the stories we have explored. From the fog-laden hills of Cornwall to the quiet streets of Ohio, each house tells a tale of tragedy, mystery, and lingering spirits that refuse to be forgotten. These are not mere buildings. They are vessels of memory, sorrow, and sometimes even warning. Every floorboard, every cracked window, every shadow that moves across the hallway is a whisper from the past, reminding us that history is never truly gone. Think of the Franklin Castle in Cleveland, where the Tiedemann family's sorrow and secrets seem to seep from every corner. Imagine standing in the abandoned halls of the corner house in Coshocton, Ohio, and feeling the presence of the woman in black, watching silently. Picture the Wildermuth Mansion in Pomeroy, where shadowy creatures and strange animal forms roam the night. These houses are not only haunted by spirits, but by the stories of the lives once lived within their walls. Lives that ended too soon, lives that carried heavy secrets, lives that left echoes behind for those brave enough to listen. Some of these spirits are gentle, merely longing to be remembered, while others carry a weight of sorrow or rage so intense it makes the air tremble and the walls shiver. Visitors have reported cold spots, voices, moving objects, and glimpses of figures from another time. Investigators with cameras and recording equipment often leave shaken, convinced that something unseen has been observing them. Even the locals who live near these homes cannot ignore their presence. They whisper warnings about approaching at night, about listening too closely, about feeling the chill of a ghostly hand brushing across your shoulder. What ties all of these haunted houses together is not just tragedy, but memory. Each home carries the imprint of those who walked its halls, who laughed, cried, loved, or died within. And perhaps that is the true terror and fascination of the supernatural, the realization that even when life ends, something of it can remain. The walls remember, the shadows remember, the wind carries whispers, and we are reminded that we are only visitors in a story far larger than ourselves. As you reflect on these tales, consider this. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of houses across America and the world that hold secrets like these, secrets that have never been told and may never be. The haunted homes we shared today are only the beginning. Each one challenges our understanding of life and death, of reality and the unknown, and reminds us that sometimes the past reaches forward in ways we cannot predict. If these stories stirred your curiosity, your sense of adventure, or even your spine, imagine standing at the threshold of one of these homes yourself. To walk through an old doorway, to feel the chill of a room where history lingers, to hear the faint echoes of voices long gone, it is an experience unlike any other. The question is not whether you will encounter a ghost, but whether you will feel the weight of their stories pressing around you. And so, if you are ready to explore further, to see the unseen, and to step into places where the past still whispers, make sure to take every precaution and approach with respect. These are not ordinary experiences. These are encounters with history, sorrow, and spirits that have waited a long time to be remembered. If you enjoyed this journey into the haunted, the cursed, and the unexplained, make sure to subscribe to stay updated on more stories that will chill, fascinate, and amaze. Share this with friends who dare to explore the unknown. Comment below your favorite haunted house or your own experiences with places that feel more alive at night than they ever did in the day. Turn on notifications because there is always another story waiting just beyond the shadows. Remember, the haunted are always watching, the forgotten are always listening, and every story you uncover keeps their memory alive. Step carefully, look closely, and never forget, the world is full of mysteries, and some are closer than you think. If you are brave enough to continue, there are more haunted houses, more ghostly encounters, and more chilling stories ready to be discovered. The past is never gone, the spirits never rest, and the unknown is waiting. So keep your lights on, listen for the whispers, and when the shadows shift, remember that somewhere, someone is watching, waiting, and maybe even guiding you through the haunted corridors of history.